and protect his charioteer and his horses also. He was not afraid of people. He was not afraid of war. In fact, he was not afraid. What he was deflated with sorrow, overwhelmed by compassion. Because of one word that creeped in here. Swa means my own. Earlier also we saw a word. What was that? Dhritarashtra used in the very first word. In the very first verse. Mamakaha. My people. What are my people and the Pandavas doing? This itself shows where his mind was. Arjuna also is in the same soup. And what does he say? Swajanam, my people. Same word, different word, but same meaning. Swajanam. And so now this is going to be a next section here, because earlier we had seen topic by topic certain sections. Now we are entering into another topic. And what is this topic? This topic is the subject matter of Arjuna's hesitancy. The subject matter of Arjuna's sorrow. This is narrated by Sanjaya. Please repeat after me. Sanjaya Uvacha. Sanjaya Uvacha. Eva Mukto Hrishikeshaha. Eva Mukto Hrishikeshaha. Gudakeshena Bharata. Gudakeshena Bharata. Senayorubhayor madhye. Senayorubhayor madhye. Sthapayitva rathottamam. Sthapayitva rathottamam. Bhishmadrona pramukhatah. Bhishmadrona pramukhatah. Sarvesham cha mahikshitaam. Sarvesham cha mahikshitaam. Uvacha partha pashyaitaan. Uvacha partha pashyaitaan. Samavetaan kuruniti. Samavetaan kuruniti. So Arjuna speaks, and after that Sanjaya narrates. Okay. And what does Sanjaya say? Eva muktaha. Eva muktaha means having been commanded thus. Gudakeshena by Arjuna. Gudakesha is a name for Arjuna. Gudaka means sleep. How do we know what sleep is? Because we got the definition in Tattvabodha class. One reason. And then we are very familiar with sleep in Vedanta class. Another reason. So, we know very well what sleep is. So, Gudaka Devi is the goddess of sleep. Yeah. And the one who had mastery over sleep is Arjuna. He could sleep on command, standing up. And he would not sleep at all. He could go for 1 week without sleeping. So, the one who had mastered the sleep is called Gudakaya Ishaha Gudakeshaha. And so, this is a very interesting story. This is why it's not your fault when you nod off in Vedanta class. Gudaka Devi went and complained to Lord Krishna. What's wrong with people? All the time they are stressed out, they are not sleeping at all. Where am I supposed to live? I live where people sleep. People are not sleeping. They have become night owls. Even at night, with one eye, they are checking their Facebook updates and they are writing emails on their phones. Even though hundreds of articles I give them to read, blue light is bad for the eyes, still they persist. They don't sleep at all the time, stressed out. Where am I supposed to go? Where should I live? Krishna, epitome, the embodiment of compassion, felt very bad for Lord Krishna. And he said, go wherever there is Harikatha. By my stories. And go wherever Vedanta is taught, because that is also very dear to me. You can stay there. So that is why the best sleep comes in Vedanta class and in Harikatha, where stories of Rama, Krishna are being told. That is where people go to. People find a place near the walls in the temple, because it's you don't want to fall in front of everybody if you nod off. You just fall back onto the wall. That's kind of nice. And then I used to take a walk. My daily walk, I used to go. There was a small temple. I used to just visit the temple and come out, part of the walk. And then for a long time I did not know. Like there was just some black spots, grey-black spots along the wall. Those were oiled heads sleeping there. So that's why it's not your fault if you nod off. You can blame Buddha Devi. So eva mukta uktva eva muktaha means being addressed thus, being ordered thus, and being ordered thus, being commanded in this manner. What did who was commanded? Rishikeshaha. By whom? Gudakeshena. By Arjunena. Bharata. Where is this Bharata? In India, correct? No. Bharata is a address to Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra here is being addressed as the sire of the Bharata line. Okay? Hey Bharata. Arjuna will also be later addressed as Bharata because he is also a descendant in the same line. Okay? So here, this is the Bharata, it refers to who? Dhritarashtra. So, ordered thus. What did he do? Senayoho ubhayoho madhye. Between the two armies, sthapayitva, having stationed what? Rathottamam, the best of the rathas, the best of the chariots. And he slowly inched it where? Bhishma Drona Pramukhataha. Inched it to park it right in front of Bhishma and Drona and cha Sarvesham Mahikshitam and all the big rulers that we have talked about. Uvacha. And he said, here it's the first time the Lord is speaking. But since it is not important, it is not Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. This is again reported in third person by Sanjaya. Uvacha Partha. So, and quotation marks. Pashya. You wanted me to put the things in the chariot in between the two armies? I have done so. Look. Look, Arjuna. Look, Partha. What? Etan Samavetan. All these people assembled here. Who? The Gurus. Iti, end quote. Iti means end quote. So this is what he says. Very, very interesting. Because the Lord Krishna knew that behind this aplomb and behind all this battle cry, Arjuna was very, very diffident about the war. Why? Because he was very soft-hearted. He could not kill his own people. And imagine yourself in a battlefield. You are a great warrior, and then wherever you look is your extended family. This side also your extended family. That side also your extended family. Cousins here, cousins there, uncles here, paternal elders over there, grandfathers, and all these people he sees. And then he suddenly doesn't want to fight. And here is where we make the mistake of many people. Make outside this room, of course, make the mistake of saying Krishna is forcing Arjuna to fight. Arjuna did not want to fight. It's not that he didn't want to fight. For 12 years he was keeping the missile-covered mantras dry by chanting the mantras. Every missile had the person's name on it. These smart bombs of today are nothing. Still there will be civilian casualties. What they had in the past was the person who needed to be offed. That person's name would be there and only that person would be targeted. That's how it was. It was not easy, and it was not easy to keep that going because they were mantra powered and were given by devatas. The mantra had to be kept on being chanted for the mantra powered missile. Whether it was mukta, amukta, mukta, or what else? Yantra mukta. Regardless of how it was deployed, it had to be, everything had to be kept alive, very much alive. And Arjuna had been preparing for this war all his life, really, in the forest. 12 years and 1 year in incognito, he was scratching on the ground, chafing at the bit, let me free. And I want to avenge the insult of Draupadi. I want to avenge the insult of Duryodhana to Yudhishthira during the game of dice, all the ways in which he made fun of him and my whole family. So suddenly to have the change of heart, it's not that he didn't want to fight. He just saw that he could not stomach the thought of killing these people. Why? Because they were his people. But his people were hissing like snakes and doing all kinds of things. Adharma. Doesn't matter, they are still my people. This is wrong. This is what is undesirable compassion. Not proper compassion. That's why the Bhagavad Gita is going to say very shortly, Kripaya paraya avishtah. Kripa, all right, but a kind of overwhelming compassion over which he had no control. A misplaced compassion. Yes, you can be compassionate towards them, but still, this is a war, and everybody agreed to battle because there was no choice. And so there is really no option but to fight, and it is a dharma war, and it's not just you and your family, all the people who were the subjects of Duryodhana were suffering because they were subjected to his rule, and they were all suffering. And so therefore Arjuna wanted him to see this and come down from his hobby horse, and then Sanjaya explains what all he saw. Tatra pashyat sthitan parthaha pitrunatha pitamaha. That's a long R, okay? So you have to spend some time with it. Yeah, 2 mantras. So I'm hearing Pitru. No, this is how it should be. Pitrunatha pitamaha. Pitrunatha pitamaha. Acharyan matulam bhratrun. Acharyan matulam bhratrun. Putran pautran sakhims tatha. Putran pautran sakhims tatha. Shvashuram sukradaschaiva. Shvashuram sukradaschaiva. Senayorubhayorapi. Senayorubhayorapi. Tan samikshya sakaunteya. Tan samikshya sakaunteya. Sarvan bandhun avasthitan. Sarvan bandhun avasthitan. Kripaya paraya vishtah. Kripaya paraya vishtah. Vishidan nidam abravit. Vishidan nidam abravit. apashyat. There he saw. Who Parthaha apashyat. There tatra. There he saw. Who Parthaha. Arjuna. Arjuna saw. What did he see? Pitrun. Pitrun means paternal side, all the elders. Pitrun. Pitamaha. Grandfather. And then the grandfathers. Acharya. Teachers. At least there were two that we know of, but Kripa and Drona, but I'm sure there were some more as well. Matula, uncles, Bhratrun, brothers, cousins, etc. Putra, sons. Include here nephews, who were like sons. Pautra, grandsons and grandnephews. Sakhi, Sakhi means friends. These are all everywhere on both sides. He recognized people. They fell into two categories: those who had played in his lap and those who in whose lap he himself had played. Shvasura. Shvasura means fathers-in-law. In Hindi we say Sasur, but it is Shvashura. Shvashuraha. Shvasura. Suhradashchaiva. Suhrad means friend, well-wishers. So the well-wishers also were there, who had just tagged on to the battle to give support. And where were they? Senayor Ubhayor Api. In both sides of the army, both of the armies they were there. He recognized everybody there. And then, having looked at all of them, Tan Samikshya, having looked at them, Saha Kaunteya, this Arjuna, Kaunteya, it's almost like he lost his nerve. Mummy's boy, Kunti Putra, Kaunteya, seeing all the relatives assembled, Sarvan Bandhun, all the relatives, Avasthitan, assembled, Kripaya Paraya Vishtaha, overwhelmed by a deep yet misplaced compassion. Vishidan means sorrowfully. Idam abravit. He said the following. Nothing much to go into. It's pretty straightforward. It's just a narration of what is to come. Okay. So he said the following. And here, from here to the end of the chapter, it is Arjuna's monologue. No dialogue here. Arjuna's monologue. This is why it gets the epithet what? Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Vishidan idam abravit. Feeling sad, feeling sorrowful, feeling completely overwhelmed by compassion. Like a deer stuck in the headlights. It's trying to cross the busy road and then it sees the headlight and it can't move. So this is where he is paralyzed by sorrow and paralyzed by this misplaced compassion. This is what he sees. And then this is what he is going to say. Arjuna uvacha Drishtvevam svajanam Krishna Yuyutsam samupasthitam Sidanti mama gatrani Mukhancha parishishyati Vepathuscha sharire me Romaharshascha jayate Gandivam sramsate hastat Tvakchaiva paridahyate Naja shaknomyavasthatum Brahmativa cha me manaha न च श्रेयोनुपश्यामि हत्वा स्वजनमाहवे दृष्ट्वा Arjunah uvacha. Arjuna said. What did he say? Drishtva. What does drishtva mean? Having seen. Remember the tva sometimes can become tva because of sandhi. Drishtva, having seen. Having seen what? Swajanam, my own people. Krishna, hey Krishna, oh Krishna. Drishtva imam. Drishtva imam swajanam, seeing these people, seeing these my own people, yuyutsam samupasthitam, gathered here to fight. Yuyutsam means to fight, desirous of fighting. Yuyutsu means desirous of fighting. Yuyutsum, so samupasthitam, looking at all these people assembled for the sake of fighting. What is happening to me? I'm having a full-blown panic attack. First panic attack, first meltdown, completely documented in history. Look at all the symptoms. Sidanti mavagatrani. Sidanti means shithilayanti. Means they feel paralyzed. My gatra is my body, my limbs. My limbs feel paralyzed. I don't feel like if you take my hand up, it will fall. That's how it feels. I feel like, what is that? Rag doll, cloth doll. So it will have legs, but if you shake it, it will just go like this. It will have hands, but it will be like this. It doesn't have any kind of a volition on its own. So here also, my legs and hands, my limbs are having weakened, paralyzed as it were. And I feel dehydrated. I just don't feel like I have enough fluids. My mouth has gone dry. Dry mouth syndrome. Come, Parishushyati. Paritaha Shushyati is dry all over. Throat is dry, mouth is dry, top of the mouth is dry, tongue is dry, bottom of the mouth is dry, gums are dry, teeth are dry, everything is dry. And then I hear a knocking sound. Where? Who's there? Then I find it's my own knees trembling. My whole body is trembling. Vepathu, ja sharire me. Everything is trembling, out of control. And then my hairs are standing up everywhere. Horripilations I'm having. Roma harshascha jayate. Harsha here doesn't mean happiness, okay? Here it means scared and sad, in the middle of a big panic attack, anxiety. And then the palms are sweating. Why? The bow, which has a name. What is Arjuna's name? Bow's name? Gandiva. Gandivam sramsate. Srams, to slip. The Gandiva is slipping from my hand. Slips from my hand. What a thing for a warrior to say. The warrior should have the hand over the weapons. But here he says the weapon itself is slipping. And then I think I have a fever. My skin is hot. Cluck. Skin. Paridakyate. My skin is as though on fire. These are all symptoms of a panic attack. Nowadays, if somebody is having an anxiety attack, they say that it's very good to taking some deep breaths, not just deep breaths from the atmosphere outside, but deep breaths of carbon dioxide. Where to bring carbon dioxide? Therefore, they say breathe into a paper bag. Like this, you breathe, and your own carbon dioxide that you breathe out, you breathe back in. And then suddenly something happens. I mean, you don't want to breathe in that many times so that it kills the person, but you breathe enough to calm down. If the paper bag were oriented, we were invented at that time, we would not have had the Bhagavad Gita. But since the paper bag was not invented, then and that's why Lord Krishna could not look in the glove compartment of the chariot and hand him a paper bag and say, here, breathe into this. He would have been okay, he would have fought, and no Gita for us. Since there was no paper bag, we are having the Gita because Arjuna has had a full-fledged panic attack and meltdown. मुखं च परिशुष्यति वेपथुश्च शरीरे मे रोमहर्षश्च जायते गाण्डीवं स्रंसते हस्तात् त्वक् च परिदह्यते. It's like a child not wanting to go to school. Mummy, headache. Mummy, tummy ache. I don't feel good. I think I have fever. Maybe there is a bully at school. We don't know. But Arjuna is behaving like this here. And these are not made up symptoms, these are real symptoms. He's actually dreading the war, dreading that the sadness has given way to dread, dreading to kill the people who all of whom he knows. It's like a killing spree. And that is like the worst thing. And so the description of the meltdown continues. He says, I'm not even able to, मैं खड़ा भी नहीं हो सकता हूँ, न शक्नोमि, I'm not able, अवस्थातुम, I can't even stand and you want me to fight, I can't even stand in the chariot. So saying, he sits down later on. I can't even seem to be standing straight in the chariot. And I can't focus, my mind is all over the place. Brahmati iva cha me manaha. When the condition is like this, what happens? All kinds of thoughts come, unbidden thoughts come. And then you start seeing omens. What is omens? Premonitions, certain things. Oh, something bad is going to happen, something bad is going to happen. And then you see, you are going for a job interview. You set out of the house. One black cat comes and rubs itself against you and you say, gee, what is this? I'll definitely not get the job. But that black cat is known to you. That's why it's coming and being friendly and wanting to be petted. Every day you see the black cat, no problem. You will bend and pet it and say, how are you and everything. You will lift it, kiss it, hug it, no problem. But today, since there is an interview, suddenly the black cat comes and you see it as an omen, bad omen. Like that man, which is Swamiji's story. Like that man who was going to fix up the alliance of his daughter. He was going on the train. And he got on the train and somebody, a vendor outside, was selling bondas. Bondas, some tasty fried fritter, okay, filled with spicy potato stuffing. And so that man was simply doing his job and saying, bonda, bonda, bonda. This man heard it as, bonda, bonda, don't go, don't go, don't go. That fellow is just eking out his livelihood, saying bonda, bonda, bonda. But this fellow was like, oh, is this a good alliance? But these people live so far away. How to give my darling daughter to them? When how often will I be able to see her? All these worries, and his mind is already not focusing. He has all these worries. And then in that, what is he hearing? Bonda, don't go. And he says, gee, I can't ignore this. This is a bad omen. And then so he gets down from the train immediately. He said, I'm not going to go with it. This is a bad omen. Even if I go, the alliance may not come and may not come through. I'm not going. Then he said, such a nice boy, and the horoscope matched so nicely. I think I'm just being foolish. And then when he was out of the train, that Bonda man must have been, putting chutney and giving it to some passengers. He was not crying out bonda bonda, and so everything was quiet. And then he got back in and took his seat. Again bonda bonda. He was paralyzed. So this is how it happens. Nimittani. Nimitta means omens I am seeing. What kind of nimittas? There are two kinds of nimittas. Good nimittas and bad nimittas. Good nimittas, some wonderful things. Like you see a Garuda, eagle, that's a very nice thing. You see an elephant, wonderful thing. You see a snake, not that great. That is not good. You see a cow, that's a good omen. You see one Brahmana walking towards you, not a good omen. There must be 2 or 3. One you must never see. Single Brahmana is a bad omen. So like this, there are all these good and bad omens culturally. In every culture it is there. And so suddenly he sees all these bad omens. Nimittani cha pashyami viparitani keshava. And then he comes to the point. Na shreyo anupashyami. I don't see. Shreyas means the best outcome. I don't see any good outcome coming out of this war. Hatva, having killing what? Swajanam, my own people, ahave, in the battlefield. I don't see anything good coming out of killing my own people in this battlefield. Are you crazy? Lord Krishna, look. This is the person who used to love me so much, and now he is on the other side. That person's son was, I have taken care of him as a baby. Whenever he had colic, I was the one lifting this nephew and carrying him around the room and patting him on the back and putting him to sleep. He would not sleep in anybody's arms, and look, now he is pointing his arrow at me and I am supposed to kill him. How is this possible? What kind of a world are we living in? And this is just not acceptable to me. This I cannot accept, that these are the people, no matter how badly behaved they have been, I cannot go about killing them. I cannot. He says, Nacha shreyo anupashyami atva svajanam ahave. Okay, if I don't see anything good coming out of it, then what? He's a very logical man, our Arjuna. He gives everything very, very logically. Let's listen to let's see what all he has to say. Nakakshe vijayam Krishna. Nakakshe vijayam Krishna. Najarajyam sukhani cha. Najarajyam sukhani cha. Kinno rajyena govinda. Kinno rajyena govinda. Kim bhogai jivitena va. Kim bhogai jivitena va. Okay. So, na kangshe, I don't want. Kangshe, I want. Na kangshe, I don't want. Oh Krishna, hey Krishna, I don't want what? Vijayam. What is Vijayam? Victory, I don't want. Oh, but what about the kingdom? Somebody may say. Najarajyam kangshe. This kangshe should go everywhere. Na sukhani kangshe. One kangshe for all of them. Okay? So, na vijayam kangshe. Na cha rajyam kangshe. Na sukhani cha kangshe. I don't want vijayam. I don't want victory. I don't want to, I don't want to be victorious in this battle. Oh, but if you are not victorious, you will be defeated. That's okay. Let me be defeated. I don't want this battle at all. Let me be defeated, or let's not fight at all. Because, why to have victory? Because you don't have a kingdom. Duryodhana has already told you what? Not even a pin's tip of a pin. That much space He is going to give you in this kingdom. Where are you going to go? You can't go to your father-in-law's kingdom. You can't go to some other person's kingdom. I mean, it was nice. You stayed in Virat's kingdom for 1 year and he helped you out at a time, but you can't permanently go and stay somewhere. There's only one place for you to go back if you survive this war. What is that place? Forest. Another 12 years and 1 year incognito if you survive that forest. And then come back. And then again he will cheat in the dice or any other thing, or he will find some other way not to give you your part, your share of the kingdom. Then you have to go back again to the forest. Is this what I want to live like? I don't want this kind of a life. I don't want the kingdom. I'd rather just die than gain the kingdom. I don't want victory, and the fight is for what? For the victory is for the sake of the kingdom. I don't want the kingdom. And then kingdom is for the sake of what? Why do we need a kingdom? There only it is written. Look. Bhoga, for the sake of experiencing wonderful things, for the wonderful things, for the sake of someone fanning and somebody else feeding peeled grapes. Here, have this. No dearth of anything. Big palaces to live in. When it gets too hot, you go to the summer palace. And then when it gets too cold, you go to the winter palace. And every place, this is how that Queen Elizabeth was, how King Charles must be living like this. So in summer she used to go to Scotland, and then winter come back again here, 3-4 palaces all over easily. And so like this, they just have so many palaces. You have a little hunting den. Den means not one room. That den means at least 10 rooms. Small palace. And nowadays the Rajas are all their pockets are empty, and half of the palaces are turning into hotels. So all the tourists coming from abroad can stay in this palace turned hotels and enjoy themselves, living like kings and queens. That is the idea. But those palaces were very big and they had many palaces. So bhoga, the Raja's life is bhoga. It's also a lot of work, but it is bhoga. What other kind of bhoga is there? You go out on the street and everybody says, oh, Raja Dhiraj Maharaj aa rahe hain. And the king of kings here is coming. Everywhere you go, you are greeted with garlands, flower petals, and people bring you all the things that they have produced on the farm and asks you to give back a little bit for their family. They just give everything to you. And so this is what is called bhoga. The prestige, the aishwarya, the power, the prestige, the status, all this is something. The rajyam, I don't want kingdom. The bhoga, what is the bhoga for? What is the bhoga for? Read the next word. That's where it is. It is right there. Sukha, for sukha. The rajyam bhoga sukhani cha. So the bhoga, because why am I keeping on experiencing something or the other? Experiencing and having experiences of prestige, pride and power, wealth, comfort. What for? Happiness, for the sake of happiness. You see how logically he is thinking? Victory is for what? Regaining the kingdom. Victory I don't want. Why do I not want victory? Because I don't want to gain the kingdom. But why don't you want the kingdom? Because the kingdom just represents bhoga, all the power, the wealth, the status, and all wonderful experiences that the kings can have, kingly lifestyle can have. A lifestyle of opulence and comfort. Why do why do you not want that? Because I don't want the happiness that the bhoga is supposed to lead me to. Bhoga is supposed to lead me to happiness. I don't want the happiness. Kim naha. Naha means for us. Kim naha. Rajyena. What is it for us with this kingdom? Oh Govinda, oh Krishna. What do we get out of this kingdom? Kim bhogaihi. That kim should come everywhere. Okay? Kim bhogaihi. What do we get out of these enjoyments? You see, vairagya creeping in. You see that this is his vairagya moment. Vairagya is coming. What is this enjoyment? I don't want enjoyment. Kinno rajyena govinda. Kim bhogaihi. What is there out of this life of opulence? Kim jivitena va. He takes it to an extreme. What is it to do with life itself? Why should I be alive? Rather an extreme position. Very, very despondent, questioning his life. And the psychiatrist who reads this will say, Arjuna in this verse is having suicidal ideation, meaning thinking of suicide. Not wanting to live. It could also be a form of what is called Shmashana Vairagya, Jihasa Vairagya. I spoke about this. What is that? Dirgha Roga Rogi. Nashtarajya. This is Nashtarajya. Brought about by not having kingdom. He says, I don't want it. Nashtarajya and Dirgha Rogi. Somebody with chronic illness says, why should I live? Somebody who has lost his kingdom says, why should I live? Why should I recover it? Why? Because all these people are my people. If I have to kill all these people to recover it, I don't want it. That is his plan. And that is what he is saying. Let's chant further. Yeshamarthe kakshitam naha. Yeshamarthe kakshitam naha. Rajyam bhoga sukhani cha. Rajyam bhoga sukhani cha. Taimeva sthita yuddhe. Taimeva sthita yuddhe. Pranas tyaktva dhanani cha. Pranas tyaktva dhanani cha. So Yesham, for whose sake? Yesham arthe, for whose sake? Kakshitam, was desired. Naha, for whose sake was desired naha by us. What? Rajyam, kingdom, bhogaha, various objects of enjoyment, pleasures, and the happiness that it promises. For whose sake we wanted that. And all of them have assembled here. Te ime, by sandhi it becomes ta ime. You'll study that later. Te ime avasthita. There is an elision of the and that S sign is called avagraha to show the elision. A modern Sanskrit thing. In ancient Sanskrit you will not find this. You just have to know your sandhis very well. It's not going to be shown for you. But here, these days we put that. Ta ime, te ime, avasthita, te ime. Ime means all of them, these. Avasthita, yuddhe, these are all standing here in the battlefield. Avasthitaha, standing, assembled in the battlefield. How pranas tyaktva, having given up their lives. Again an ominous statement. One ominous statement Duryodhana made, another one Arjuna made, sealing the fate of the war. No one survives except Parikshit, and he too attracts a curse from a snake, and he too he dies. Pranans tyaktva, having given up their lives, dhanani cha, and the money also. They have, money means what? It's not a joke for this, having a battle of this size. Soldiers have to be fed. Elephants, horses have to be fed. Bathed, all these things. Soldiers have to be paid. Chariots have to be kept in good repair. For that you need repair people at hand. If a wheel comes off, if the axle is broken, if the tail is broken, you need people at hand. And then what? So many things, expenses. War is very expensive. Costly yantras, things that throw big boulders on the other side, all these things you have to invest in. So all these people who are our allies, they have come and given us all this money, they have invested in this big thing, in this war. And here they are, he wanted to say they are ready to give up their lives. By mistake, what does he say? They have given up their lives. Pranans tyaktva dhanani cha. And who are they? Let us see. Acharya pitarah putraha.
Acharya pitarah putraha.
Acharya. Acharya pitarah putraha.
Acharya pitarah putraha.
Tathaiva cha pitamaha.
Tathaiva cha pitamaha.
I didn't hear the visarga, so we are going to do it again. Tathaiva cha pitamaha.
Tathaiva cha pitamaha.
Yes. Matula shvashura pautraha.
Matula shvashura pautraha.
Shyala sambandhinastatha.
Shyala sambandhinastatha.
Etan nahantumichhami.
Etan nahantumichhami.
Nadopi madhusudana.
Nadopi madhusudana.
Api trailokya rajyasya.
Api trailokya rajyasya.
Hetoh kinnu mahi krite.
Hetoh kinnu mahi krite.
So who are these people? These are for whose sake all these rajya, bhoga, sukha would have made sense. But here they are. They are about to be killed. They are as good as dead. Who are these people? Acharyaha, revered teachers. Pitaraha, uncles. Putraha, and sons. Sons means nephews also. Tathaiva, in the same manner, grandfathers. Madulaha, uncles. Shvashuraha, Shvashuraha means in-laws. Pautraha, grandchildren. Shyalaha means cousins. Sambandhina, other such connections, extended family connections. Etan, he Madhusudana. Madhusudana is a very interesting epithet for Lord Krishna. Madhu, Asura, is the name of an Asura. Because he was very sweet on the face of it. And but then a terrible fellow. So Madhu Sudayati iti Madhusudana. The one who kills Madhu is called Madhusudana. Madhu is the Asura that stands for the ego. Very sweetly it says, go study Vedanta. I will not be in your way. And then as soon as you start to study and as soon as it starts to make a dent in you, Vedanta is speaking to you, then the ego says, is this really such a good idea? Think about it. It's not very practical to spend 6 months just, day after day, just doing this. Everything should be in a, what is that called? Moderation. Very sweetly it will tell. If it hasn't told already, don't worry, it will tell. Okay? I am so this is how this is exactly how the ego, pretending to be extremely sweet, starts telling all kinds of things. Asura, because it really doesn't have your interests at heart. The ego here has become abhimani. One more word we understood. What is abhimani? Identified with ragadveshas. The Ahankara should identify with the buddhi which is wanting Vedanta. But instead it drives the buddhi towards the raga dveshas and parks the buddhi there. Poor buddhi gets tempted. That's what happens. And so here also there is all this second guessing and what will happen? Why should I do this, etc. So this is madhu, the ego. In Kathopanishad also the word madhu comes and for ego. And then, so here, this Hey Madhusudana, you the killer of ego, meaning Arjuna is already starting to give him permission to annihilate his own ego. Please take care of my ego. This is the one you have killed people like Madhu, egotistic asuras like Madhu. Please help me with the inner Madhu. It's a silent cry for help. Later on he will cry loudly for help, but here it's a silent cry for help. Please help me vanquish this inner Madhu, the asura who is sweetly spoken, pretends to be very logical, but yet does not make sense. And so he says that for whose sake we are fighting this war, if they themselves are not there, I am not going to enjoy the kingdom. I am not going to enjoy the victory. I am not going to enjoy the kingdom. I am not going to enjoy the fun things that are there to do in the palace. And I am also not going to enjoy any happiness or peace of mind, because constantly I will be raked by guilt. I killed this one. My arrow drove into the heart of that one. Oh no, I killed the grandfathers. Oh no, I killed my in-laws. Oh no, I killed my brothers, my cousins. I will be raving and ranting like a madman, even in my sleep. I cannot handle it. I do not want this war. This is where he is going to say a lot more. This is where we'll stop for today. Alright. We can come with a few more questions today. Alright. Om Purnamadaഃ Purnamidam Purnāt Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.